All right, yeah, I think we're good. Yeah, we're good. All right, so I guess Final Fantasy XIV is going through a real estate crisis?
Yes.
So explain that to me.
So their housing system, while quite robust, has always had a consistent problem, which is location. Everything's instanced, so it doesn't particularly matter where they go. But like, there's still a finite amount of space in the system that they developed for the game to exist upon.
Yeah.
So, buying new housing is now exorbitantly expensive. And the people who are sitting on the old housing aren't... It's not even like real life where they're sitting on it because, like, I wish to rent or I wish to sell later when it's worth more. They simply don't exist. It's as if...
Buyer does not exist for era. No!
Yeah, the players no longer log in.
Oh, no, but I thought they automatically demolished the houses after X amount of time.
They do. That X amount of time has a lot of overlap with a bunch of other people also no longer logging in ever again.
Oh, so
there's cascading waves of queues of, like, housing needing to be demolished. It's insane.
Dude, oh no.
Which is really funny because the guy who made Final Fantasy XIV literally made this clusterfuck because he was told he wasn't allowed to use the system that already worked. Because in Dragon Quest III, I think it was, they have player housing.
Okay.
And not only that, they have effectively unlimited, perfect open world housing.
Huh, okay.
Like, I watched like 2 videos about it where people are like, why don't we have this in other games? And it's literally because they tell the guy who fucking did it, you're not allowed to do it again.
Why?
I don't know.
Just because...
Presumably, Dragon Quest III owns the IP. Like, you're not allowed to use that fucking...
That's our system?
That belongs to us.
Huh, that sucks.
That's the only, like, thing I can think of that is...
Look, that's happened before.
That happens a lot, yeah.
Yeah, this is our system. This is how we do it.
Yeah. So, real estate crisis in Final Fantasy.
Dude, that's fucking tragic, man.
Yeah.
So, it's funny. I wonder if that has to do with that whole influx of players that, like, Asmongold brought over.
Oh, yeah.
Because, like, I was part of that.
They're not permanent players, probably.
I was so mad because I independently... This is another thing.
You were technically part of that wave.
Yeah, I was technically part of that wave because I independently thought, man, I'm tired of Warcraft. I have a PS4. I had Final Fantasy XIV. I want to be a bunny girl. Let's do it.
Yep.
Because they finally introduced the Veras. And I was like, yeah, I want to be a bunny girl. You literally get Fran's armor as a starter gear.
Bunny girl, fucking Dragoon. Tony was all the fucking... He was signed up, ready to pay them all the money in his vault. And
then the worst thing is, I made my character too attractive. Yeah. And so it was just completely distracting. Because she had a perfect ass. It was terrible. So when I finished A Realm Reborn... and got into the first expansion, they give you like a item to redo your character's appearance.
Yeah.
And I made my character to a bunny boy.
Right.
Because the expansion they just released gave you the male Vera option. And just for the sake of just productivity, man. Just to be able to finish this game, I had to stop wanting to jack off. It's just not productive, man.
Which is very funny because him turning into the bunny boy led to him immediately being like, this game fucking sucks. I'm done.
Yeah, not good. Not a good look. Not a good look. Well, I know what I'm about. Let's just say that.
More MMO troubles I'll never understand.
Yeah. It's a whole way of life, man. It's a whole culture. Honestly. Like, the amount of people that have, like, multiple active subs. Like, I used to be one of those people. And then, like, 4chan bullied that out of me. Like, there was, like, a whole, like shit post I saw one time that had, like, the gamer, like, types and rankings.
Yeah.
And, like, I think the one I was Fatless.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was the Fatless because I play, Alice and Nippon Ichi games, and I have multiple rolling MMO subscriptions. And I was like, shit, they got me.
And the little picture next to it was, like, a super fat guy, but he's, like, cast in shadow.
Yeah! Yeah, got me. Yeah. Guilty as charged, man. Not even gonna deny it.
Yeah, I guess that is.
Truth hurts, man. You know, a few days ago, even I would have like denied that, but like, nah, man, we're past it, dude. 2024 is the year of leaning in.
We're
man.
leaning on in.
Whatever they throw at you, man, lean on in.
You take the pitch and then you fucking get to first base. That's
yes,
all that
sir.
matters.
You keep on walking. That's all that fucking matters, bro. Oh, that's good.
How have you been, Mario? I haven't seen you in a while.
Yeah.
Not bad.
Read any good books lately?
No, I've been on a huge podcast binge.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
Instead of
What are you listening to?
audiobooks.
If you don't mind.
Yeah.
Microphone
Well,
people, you don't have
yeah.
any business here, so we might turn.
Let's see who we're plugging shamelessly.
So my favorite, the only podcast I listened to for a long time was Last Podcast on the Left.
Right.
Which they're a like true crime / like comedy thing. But I exhausted all of their episodes. They're like 500 plus episodes like a year ago.
Those are the guys that are always talking about reptilian plots, right?
Yeah, well, it's like they do true crime and then they'll cover like weird shit like aliens or like magic. Like
that's some pretty good.
That's how I know all the shit about Aleister Crowley.
There we go, boom.
Because they had like a
literal magic. Awesome.
Yeah, like a 5-episode series on him.
Fellow wizards.
Yeah, and so I was like, all right, I like true crime shit. What else does Spotify have? And then apparently I found this one that blew up in like 2017 called Serial.
Yeah.
And then that spawned a bunch of clones.
Serial is the one that literally everyone points to as being like, that's why there are bad true crime podcasts and bad mystery podcasts.
It's really good too. I listened to the first season.
Well, yeah, it's because imitators. It's not because Serial.
And then there's a couple clones of that are actually pretty good. And so I was listening to those too.
Okay, cool.
It's been interesting. Yeah, I learned stuff about the law that I found very
upsetting.
Yeah,
that's how I feel whenever I learn.
You know
about
the
the
most
law.
shocking one was?
Let's hear it.
The sheriff's office.
Oh yeah.
Oh man.
The sheriff's like.
I didn't realize they had so much power.
Yeah, they're
an elected official, so they give them.
They're not always.
They're not always.
No.
What do you mean they're not always?
They're not always elected. Sometimes the election
God.
process is an appointment by local government, and then after that appointment, they're not beholden to that local government.
Because it's still technically
Yeah.
an office. Yeah, okay.
Oh
yeah.
man. Oh man.
Yeah, that shit blew my mind.
Yeah.
I had no idea about that.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, so that's why they're like police plus.
Yeah.
Because you just don't answer to anybody. Like, okay, that's fine.
Yeah.
That's gonna be a yikes for me, my dude.
There's literally people who occupy like the station of sheriff, who are of the opinion that like the sheriff's offices don't answer to anybody but the president.
Oh man, I am the law. God damn, bro.
Have you
And
seen?
you don't need to have like law enforcement experience.
That's the worst part.
You just
That's
get
the
put
part
there.
that tickles me is that like most law enforcement agents don't have to know the law to do their job, and I hate that.
Yeah,
that doesn't sound like a good
They're
idea,
literally
man.
just a politician. Like, if you can convince people to vote for you that you're going to do a good job at upholding the law, there you go, boom.
Yeah.
I'm the sheriff
you
now.
did it. Like,
I am the
you
law.
get the fucking
God damn.
metal
That's
star.
so reckless.
And
That's so reckless. Yo.
Tony, it's so reckless. Like, I think Eddie Murphy made a movie about it where it's like, yeah, the sheriffs arrested us, put us on a work camp, and then didn't let us go, so we escaped when we were 80. Because that shit
I
happened.
love that movie. I forgot about that movie. What's it called? Oh my god.
I think it's called Life.
It might be called Life.
Because they're doing life.
Because life's
yeah.
a bitch, yeah, god
Yeah.
damn. And,
But-
and they're doing life, yeah.
Yeah,
That's,
but genuinely, that happened. There's a guy, Sheriff Joe, who like got in a lot of trouble because like he was like, of course that's the best way to mete out justice. You steal people, enslave them, and then middle, you get in trouble and the president bails you out. Donald Trump liked this guy. He's not in power anymore, I believe.
Oh yeah, and I read about this guy. I read about this
Real
guy.
piece of shit.
And that's one of the reasons I don't like Trump. Is like, bro, look at who's bailing out, mother. Anyway, not gonna talk about it.
See, that was
That's a
wild.
bummer, though. Yeah.
I learned about
On
that.
the last podcast on the left.
No, this is from Serial and
Serial. Okay.
The other one is what was it?
I was gonna say that's
In the Dark. It's literally just a carbon copy of Serial, but they're actually really good too. Like, they just do as good of a job as Serial.
Okay.
Which is a rarity.
It was, and then...
Generally, it's people like, have you heard about the murder
and then...
of little Tommy Fuckweiler?
That's
like
literally what In the Dark is about. There was a missing kid, child case from, like, fucking, like, 30 years ago, or 25 years ago. And basically... And the craziest part about these fucking podcasts is the subject matter that they cover and then they get really popular, like, solves the fucking case.
Yeah.
It's nuts. Like,
so genuinely,
3 out of 3 that I've listened to have done this now.
So I had this conversation with a bunch of people now, and this feels fucked up. Generally, girls agree with this. Which is that cold case shows and movies and stuff are like, they are an evil thing that is a force for good. Because factually,
Victoria had that opinion, and I didn't agree with her at first. And then she laid her stance out, and I was like, "She's completely
You're getting
right."
Entertainment out of essentially tormenting survivors and accusing like potentially innocent people, and you're doing this for like a what would in like reality be a protracted media campaign. But sometimes in the end, we get them. We get the murderer. So. They do good, but also they're horribly bad.
Like the Dahmer one on Netflix, that one's problematic. I think that one, you're glorifying a bad man. But there was another one on Netflix that was about, it's not the Unabomber, but it was the guy, I think he did the Olympics. He did a bombing, I want to say in the 90s. And basically it was like a crime documentary show.
Oh, the terrorist group?
No, it was like a guy. It was like one guy who was like, I'm smarter than everyone else because I'm a sociopath, so I'm going to prove it by outsmarting the police and bombing a bunch of people. And he hid in the mountains and basically used like poor Christian folks and misled them to basically hide amongst them and like weaponize militia to go against the FBI.
Right.
Because they were trying to stop, this actual fucking bomber.
Right.
But he had this whole narrative go. It was a whole thing.
Where the police are prosecuting me simply because...
Well, that's the thing is, I don't know what actually happened. But according to this documentary, what I'm saying is what happened.
Right.
So they I don't know what testimonies they got. I don't know how accurate it is. It could all be complete horseshit, right? But that's the thing is, this is apparently based on true events. And they had a whole little, like, season narrative about this guy. And it ends with him... Basically, the only reason they didn't cut his goddamn head off when they got him was because he had more bombs hidden and was like, you're going to let me live and I'll tell you where the bombs are.
Right.
And then he told his mom, like, yeah, I won, Mom. Haha, I win. Because he's an evil sociopath.
He's fucking insane.
He's on some next level shit. Like in a bad way. Like supervillain shit. So, and the last scene is him getting in the cell next to the Unabomber. And he's, like, proud about it. And, like, that's, like, so... My first thought when I like watched the end of that, because I watched this with Nick, he's the one who turned me on to this. I was like, "Wow, this is crazy." I thought about you, Mario, because I remember you have a fascination with serial killers and stuff, and I always respected that because it's not a matter of glorification or romanticism. It's a matter of like, what's your angle, like. And so the fact that this show put that down as the angle, whether I don't know if that's accurate or not. But it's an interesting outlook or take as to what drives someone. Is because apparently, he literally gets, in the show at least, they ferry him into like the cell or whatever, and he gets sit next to the Unabomber, and he sits there and he takes it all in. They're like, yes, I'm on the same level as the Unabomber, and then he immediately starts writing his book about I won. And it's like, that's how these people fucking do it. And it's the worst thing is, this show made him right. Oof.
Yeah.
Oof. Fucking oof.
Yeah. My fascination comes from, like, I don't know. It's like, I view them as, like, they're, like, not people.
Yeah, they're insects. Like the thing with American Psycho you were talking about. Sorry, I don't have to interrupt. Or like he's not seeing people; he's seeing what they're wearing. You know?
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Sorry, I don't have to interrupt.
Well, it's because like the vast majority of them are like there's from like like the advancements in like the profiling shit and like the Mindhunter guy and all that like they actually have identified like several things that are like really common among them. Although it's not like hard.
Right, it's not a rule, but it is a commonality.
But, like, in general, like, it's the big three, I think they're called. It's like typically all three of these things, like the majority of like serial killers, like have these symptoms, which
they display these,
is a head injury early in life.
Yep.
They got
some got knocked loose.
So,
oh man,
the brain literally got rewired from a really hard hit to the head.
And I've heard this. I've heard of a lot of people getting head trauma and they just be going full fascist. Like they're just like, that's it. Hitler was right. God damn it. Like
so
because some got
up
there.
One of the first like signs of a TBI or an untreated concussion is literally the part of your brain that handles your forethought and empathy. Literally takes a backseat to the part of your brain that handles fear and trying to maintain survival.
Also, you're usually the
prefrontal and hypothalamus, respectively.
It's usually I don't know which one of those it is, but it's usually also the section where that controls your inhibitions. Usually, also
that's prefrontal. Yeah.
So it's like literally have less control
Yep.
over themselves. So that's like a big one. Not always, but that's usually they got something knocked loose.
Right.
Second one is, again, not always, but a lot of them fucking horribly abused.
Right. Yeah.
When they were young,
That's
which is like
yeah.
does not excuse what they do
but
later,
yeah, it's
but
just
like,
sad.
It gives you.
It's certainly sad.
It's like abuse begets abuse. Like there you go.
It's like werewolves.
Yeah, I read some of the diaries, man. That shit's rough. Yeah.
The third one is super weird. Bedwetting.
Yes.
Huh.
Like even into like adult early young adulthood.
So like the knowledge of like bedwetting being associated with like a quote criminal mentality, like that goes all the way back to Freud, who like explained it as like returning to infantilism and stuff. And genuinely, it might just be like there's a part of our brain that handles whether or not we piss our bed, and it might be the serial killer gate.
That's the weirdest one.
Yeah,
it's like
similar to the gay gene. We don't know what does that. JK, that bad taste.
But even though we have those three things as they usually have at least one of these things about them. Sometimes, no.
Yeah.
You just come out and you're...
Sometimes a guy can just be super fucked up.
Just a piece of shit.
Yeah. You know, and it's like... I remember, I think it was Nick once told me, like, you know, America's worst failing is that we don't use these people for something.
Yeah.
Like, and honestly...
We need a suicide squad.
Well, like... In a perfect world, yeah, these guys have a job too, man. Like,
specifically,
the melting pot. The true melting pot has a job for serial killer sociopaths, man.
So that is
like
in that vein. There's
we need a psychopath system.
So
they do have a job for a sociopath in that.
It's interesting because I did watch a video on. I used to like Big Think a lot on YouTube.
Mm-hmm.
It's where they bring in scientists, philosophers, a whole bunch of, and then this one. I think he was a philosopher, was explaining the concept of how, like, a psychopath can potentially save more lives than a regular person.
Right.
Because if you're presented with a scenario...
You instantly make a decision.
In which you have to sacrifice one life to save more lives, a regular person's going to hesitate.
Right.
Because taking any lives, that's a problem. The psychopath, though, is just going to be... boom.
Yeah.
Knock that fucker out. Like...
And I read a thing about this when I was studying for my degree. There was like a paper that some guy posited that like one of the prevalent reasons why there are so many psychopaths in modern society is that one of the ways nobility was basically bred into the nobility basically because of that. Basically, I need to make a decision now, so boom, I'm just going to do this. And I guess that's one of the reasons why it's so prevalent in society, is because that's one of the ways you could maintain powers of being a psychopath. Being able to make tough calls is one of the things you'll pay people for.
And being largely exempt from the law.
That too, unfortunately. Fuck, dude.
There's also the theory of the super masculine ideal, which is why like women find themselves attracted to like psychopathic behavior. And it's like partially... it's believed to be partially due to like when the way that we tell stories is like it's in favor of it. It tells us that more psychopathic behavior in the regards of like making the hard decisions is more morally correct, but also more like manly. So it's seen as like hyper masculine to have these behaviors and in fact problems.
I hate that.
Yeah.
That's rough, man.
Goes back to that fucking shit you're always talking about, the prey animal stuff. Like,
I hate it.
Yeah,
I hate
it's
it,
directly
man.
linked to that.
Like
fact.
the amount of disgusting shit I've heard women tell me about how they view themselves, and I'm just like, go on, like, tell me more. And it's like, bro, don't say that. Why do you think that? Who told you this?
Did you know you're a strong, independent woman who don't need no man? Did you know that?
Did you know you're a human being who has worth and dignity? Holy shit, lady, what the fuck? What happened? What happened in the 30 years of your life to get you here to tell me what you just told me on the internet? What the fuck? Anyway.
A lot of fucked up shit. That's why she's got the bad dragon dildo collection.
Dude, the daddy issues are prevalent. Like, I'm not trying to kink shame people. By the way, I'm fully 100% full tilt. I don't want to date you unless you have like 3 dildos. Like, if you don't have a robust collection and you're like, you know, willing to like explore and like think about this shit, and I can talk about this shit with you, I am no longer interested. You are boring. You are a boring person. We're not going to get along.
Show me the spread.
All right.
Yeah, show me the spread. Show me the array, man.
I showed you mine, you show me yours.
This should be on a shelf, and this should be something you're excited to talk about. And if you're not excited to talk about your dildo collection and how shiny and pretty
or
and
at the very
they are,
least, gigglingly ashamed.
Yeah, exactly. Like, it should
well,
be...
maybe I have some...
Yeah, exactly. It's playful. It's fun. You know, you don't have to be, like, full tilt. Like, you don't have to go full like I am, you know? Like, I'm a shameless pervert at this point, right? But, like, at least have some fucking fun, man. I don't know. So many people are so like, oh, no, I would never. And then, like, I know what you're about. Don't lie to me.
That just reminded me, we were talking about pegging, like at D&D one time.
God bless.
And like the question started going around of like, oh, would you? And then everyone was like, oh, and then like it got to me and I was like, yeah, but it's not very funny if I just say yeah. So she has to defeat me first.
No, 100. Well, you know what?
Sex
100%.
fight. Yeah.
As a 6'4", 300-pound man, yes. If you wrestle me into submission, you have earned it, lady. You are in the top 1% of females. You have right of conquest. By all means.
I'm ready to go full Yu-Gi-Oh with it, where you can like use like a card game or something to trick me, and I'm like, you've won, and now my ass is the Shadow Realm.
Battle of Wits.
The Shadow Realm. That's done, bro. I don't know. I'm iffy on that. This goes back to the fucking...
Back to the furry thing?
Yeah.
Like,
the pervert medicine here, yeah.
I mean, this is all presuming...
I really like you.
This,
yeah, fair enough.
I gotta be in love with you.
Yeah, this has to be like, we're already like in a bromance, you know, but it's like, I imagine this is like some sort of like barbarian Svetlana chick, right? You know, we're, okay, hypothetically speaking, D&D terms, right? I'm like some guy, you know, I'm some fighter.
Right,
She's
start describing your masturbation dreams now.
Based in Redfield, brother. But yeah, you know, we're like chilling and, you know, we're hanging out. It's like, you know, she's like, yo, hey man, can I peg you? And I'm like, I'm not about that, man. We're cool. You know, we're friends. She's like, well, what if I like beat you? What if I wrestle you into submission? I'd be like, yeah, you know what? You know what, Svetlana? You're a pretty cool guy. If you can pull that off, by all means. Yeah, we can tussle and I'll be the bottom.
So I literally, this is what went through my head as you were describing that.
Yes, sir.
It is you meet person sitting on the male person sitting on the couch, like looking on their phone, hot girl next to them, and then they ask, can I peg you? And all I can think is like, are we still going to dinner? Like,
well, they're a barbarian. They don't have fucking, you know, they don't give a shit.
Does it need to be now? I'm in the middle of this video. It's actually pretty fun.
Does it need to be now? Fuck, bro. Go to Red Lobster first with your barbarian girlfriend.
I guess I shouldn't if we're gonna do butt stuff.
The amount of like...
I guess I'll go get... Do you know how to get ready? Do you have the stuff?
process involved in pegging.
Yeah.
How does one prepare to get pegged?
I know Justin said his friend's
like
really
official?
into it. Do you have their phone number?
Yeah, I'd need to... What's the pegging meta, bro?
Yeah.
Like, what?
Let's call
definitely lube, right? Obviously. There's some fundamentals here.
We gotta clean that shit out also.
Yeah, a douche would be good. That's one thing, that was one of my biggest negatives for anal sex is that it's just gross. That's where poop comes from. But, like, you do the proper groundwork. We can work with something.
It's a process.
Yeah.
It's a process, You have to want it. You have to want it, and you have to do the necessary work.
I'm gonna be honest with you. I'm going through the same, like, thing in my brain where I know enough to know that I don't know enough to go into it.
Dunning-Kruger effect, yep.
So I'm literally just, like, in my head, I'm asking this woman for advice.
Fuck, bro.
I'm straight up, man.
Same brother. That's the point, though. You're not. You're awakened.
Do you want to hear some of my notes that I've been writing down whenever I am too silly and it's late at night?
Let's hear them, because I know sometimes your brain gets baked, bro.
It's some of them are pretty. Some of them are sort of just thoughts like, why do humans have an action innately to make themselves heavy? You can't actually make yourself any heavier. You weigh as much as you weigh.
I'm huge!
But in your brain, if you think, like, make yourself heavy, there's a thing that your body you tense up in, like, certain ways.
Well, don't those, like, Tai Chi guys, like, do some, like, density training thing? I don't know. I've seen...
Right?
Yeah, I've seen some shit where you can, like, plant your body a certain way.
My point is, why the fuck do we know how to do that? Everyone knows.
Yeah,
if you're a baby getting picked up and you don't want to be picked up, they fucking do it.
Yeah, how to plant yourself.
Yeah.
That is because I can think right now of, like, just
how you would go about being avoided being picked up by, like, a Titan or fucking
Titan. Protus coming over to eat my ass. Fuck.
Anyway, some of them are just thoughts like that, and some of them are things that I think are really funny things to say, like, I like a girl with thick eyelashes. Eyelashes like eyebrows. And eyebrows like mustaches.
That's a dwarf thing right there, man.
That's
that's definitely what a dwarf would say.
Yeah, actually.
Yeah, that's good. I like that. That's really good. I like it. Yeah.
Let's see.
What else you got?
If you were a person that bikes or runs or anything, like, out in public, like on public roads, would you be a dressed in full, like, gear style of person, or dressed in your absolute scrungliest, like, sweatsuit thing just to, like, get out there and get moving?
I am the latter. Well, I don't bike, but when I was, like, going out and about, I'm the latter, man. I guess.
Presuming an unlimited money scenario, which one would... Yeah.
The latter. Always the latter.
Yeah.
I throw on whatever desiccated sweatpants and whatever shirt I don't care gets dripping wet with my viscera. And I just go at it, man.
He goes out there and he explodes.
Yeah, I just go at it, man. Whatever happens, happens. Because this shit's getting discarded once I'm done. Just desecrated by my juices.
I have gym shorts and workout shirts, which are just plain black tees.
But if money was no option, you didn't have to, like, think about anything else, would you be like the compression shirts?
I would just have more of those.
Yeah.
Just have an endless supply of gym shorts and plain black tees.
Man of simple taste, I like it.
Yeah, what do you need? Anything like, I don't know, like gearing up for, like, unless you're like a pro athlete or something. It's just like, why?
But if you were a pro, would you be like a...
If that was like my life, maybe, sure. But like, no, I hate running. Like, I do a warm-up mile before my workouts, and that, like, murders my ass. Like, I'm not a distance guy. Like, hurts.
I can't do running because I have a knee infected with horrible cancers of the nerves. It doesn't matter. That was one of my thoughts. Another one was, this I just thought was a funny thing to say. The kind of woman who goes for me isn't a any man would be lucky to have you type. It's more of a kind of woman that might be unlucky to have. You know? Like, things were going great. Unfortunately, I have her. That's more my speed.
I dig it.
Let's see. This... That one is actually, it devolved into just a racist joke, so I decided not to go any further with that one.
I appreciate it. Much obliged, Captain. Much obliged.
Oh, this is a thing that I genuinely wish to know if it's possible. There's probably a very small percentage of men whose dick and urethra are shaped perfectly to create laminar flow when they piss.
Oh, man. What a doozy.
Yeah.
I feel like we talked about this before.
We did talk about it, but not on here, so I...
Okay. Yeah, what a weird thing.
Yeah. Could happen,
Just
though.
a fan, right?
Huh?
Laminar flow?
That's when, like, it's like a perfect stream that has, like, no, like, bubbles or interruptions in it, and then it hits the water, it doesn't even, like, make a splash.
Oh. Oh, so it's like a perfect tube, basically? That's hilarious. That's a hilarious concept. I thought you meant that, like, it would, like, fan out a little bit.
Like this.
Oh, man. That's awesome.
Just dudes out here with rifle
Yeah.
penises.
God damn.
Like-
Yeah, rifled. Yeah,
Like, it's
rifled
perfect
cocks.
tube that's just leading into the water, doesn't even splash. It's like they were always part of the same system.
That's really fun.
Because I found out that there's teapots, and when you buy, like, a Chinese teapot, they're graded for, like, how far they can, like, maintain laminar flow. And, like, the lowest quality ones, like, they can maintain, like, laminar flow from, like, a couple inches away, like you're pouring a glass of tea. But, like, the highest quality ones, you can stand, like, 6 feet above a pond and just pour out the kettle, and the water out of the spout, just a perfect little tube that doesn't even splash in the pool.
That's incredible, dude. Ancient Chinese secret,
Ancient Chinese
man.
secret,
That's
huh?
crazy, man. I love that. Good for them. Good for them and their fancy-ass teapots.
Anyway, so I saw that and started thinking about dicks.
Can I piss in laminar flow?
Yeah.
See, that's the thing, okay? In a pissing contest, motherfucker, if I'm judging it, that's something I'm judging for. Not just length. Anyone who just judges length in a pissing contest is a fucking Philistine and shouldn't be judging that contest, should they? No. You need to look at, like, the color, like, the smell, the laminar flow.
Yeah. Let this be the new cosmetic surgery craze. The laminar flow urethra.
Do you even piss
Yeah.
in laminar flow, bro?
He's out here pissing all noisy, splashing around like a damn animal.
Sounds like bacon, man. I'm
Yeah.
not a fan.
Sounds like somebody's frying chicken in here. Sounds like we don't got any professional pissers.
Like I think I mentioned it last time that I watched a fucking I guess a J drama. I guess that weird Japanese.
Yeah.
And then I was like, what's going on in Korea? And so I started watching some K dramas, and I only really liked one of them so far. But you saying
They're fucking wacky, man.
yeah, like the laminar flow, like cosmetic procedure. That sounds like some shit rich Koreans would do.
100%, brother.
Dude,
100%.
their portrayals of rich people, that's all they're fucking about. The
Oh,
ones
yeah.
It's just rich Koreans and like how they're shitty.
Bro,
basically.
dude, so
No, so listen, even
Yeah.
their media that's not about rich Koreans, that's like about like a guy playing video games, but like he came from he got isekai'd into the past, so now he knows all the advanced techniques, and all the people who are playing the game currently don't know the advanced techniques. Even that one's just about him becoming a rich Asian and being like around other rich Koreans. Like that's all it's really about. And there's a million of these. I know, I read all of them. They were terrible.
Yeah, I don't like it, and I took a few years of Korean in at GMU, and like, you know, neither of my Soonsung Nims ever explicitly said this, but one of the things I got from the vibe that one of the reasons they chose to teach in America is to get away from that shit, like because I think they were both beautiful, gorgeous women, but by Korean beauty standards, no, they weren't. And I know at least one of them had mentioned that, like, passively, just, like, in, like, before class or something. I forgot what we were talking about. They had, like, mentioned how, like, they're like, yeah, by Korean beauty standards, I'm basically ugly. And I, like, did, like, the reverse wolf thing from Looney Tunes, where like my eyes exploded out of my head, and it can be imploded because I was like, what? Are you taking crazy pills? You're gorgeous. What are you talking about?
So,
but yeah, they don't. And then she told us there is a district in Korea where all of the women look exactly the same because they go to the same plastic surgeon. So basically, there's like this like face store-bought plastic surgeon Barbie Korean look you can have. And the worst thing is, it looks like the mom from Bororo, which is basically their Coco Melon.
Goodness. Isn't
that the most dystopic thing dystopic thing you've ever heard in your life? That's terrible, man.
So, one thing that I was reading about recently, so, you know Lucy Liu?
Uh-huh.
She's considered, like, ugly by, like, a lot of, I think, Chinese standards for her. But, like, whatever. She's also older now, so obviously people are going to be mean to her for basically no reason.
Tragedy, man.
But anyway. One of the guys in the new Marvel movies, they've only put him in one movie despite him being like easily their best new character, and that's the guy who plays Shang-Chi. His name is Simu Liu. This is he.
Okay.
And there were protests in China because they said that they casted the ugliest actor that they could.
What do you mean? Dude,
look at this Chad man.
This is why I think I'm ugly. Because, like...
What do you mean?
I think he's prettier than I am, and what do you mean he's ugly? Okay, no, here's the other part. This is why I'm a crazy man. I'm a lunatic. The guy from Morbius. Who was
Jared
Milo?
Leto?
Who?
Oh.
Milo.
Oh, Milo. Oh, fuck.
Who was this fucking primordial face bastard, this caveman motherfucker that everyone thinks is super attractive? I'm gonna get shot for saying this. I don't know. I don't see it.
No, he's a fucking monster.
Yeah, him being Damon in House of the Dragon, I just don't like.
He's ethnically a Frankenstein.
You know what I mean, dude?
I don't even know who you're talking
about.
Matt Smith.
He has big ugly boy energy. Like the song "Ugly Boy" by Guy Antwoord is about him.
Yeah.
Not about Yolandi's boy toy. It's about that guy. Look at his fucking.
Look at him.
Yeah, the thing is, he exudes...
He's very Dracula-like to me.
He exudes confidence,
Any of the groovy
therefore he
ghouls.
has charisma, and I will always acknowledge that. But my man, as far as just pure physical appearances go, you don't got it from me.
And frankly, he's a pretty good actor, too.
Like Ryan Reynolds, I could work with that. Guy, I couldn't. I don't know.
I would describe him as looking exceptionally British.
Yeah. He is.
Average British man.
Yeah. I don't like...
Fuck.
Those are some British features, my dude. Like...
To all of my friends in DOK, I apologize. It's a deep cut right there.
Well, they should try...
Hey, man. It's not on me. That's not on me, dude. You're not wrong. Fuck.
Like, I'll never apologize for calling British people ugly. Like, I'm not all of them, you know. Like, Henry Cavill's a chiseled Greek god, man.
Henry Cavill fully is beyond, like, origin or ethnicity. It's him and, like, Idris Elba and The Rock, who are just, like, those are some of our best. Those are the best, those top-tier humans.
Yeah. But then you got, like, regular British man whose forehead is... I don't know why they all...
Excuse me!
Big fucking... Like, even that guy, like, he has a protruding forehead. It's exceptionally British.
He has a big enough forehead
like
that if he was lifting himself out of the water, like out of a pool, he could conceivably hurl his forehead onto land first and use that as leverage.
Okay, I can't own it anymore. God damn, bro, you're fucking roasting these people apart. Oh, fuck.
All, you know, not everyone.
No, fair enough.
Obviously,
there are some but that goes both ways. There are plenty of those folks here. What was the thing Squizgar said? Like, a bunch of Swedes?
A bunch of Swedes moved here 200 years ago, got ugly and fat. Makes me horny.
Yes, sir! Yeah, that except for Cockney accents, me.
Fucking...
I had the hugest crush on this girl I used to play Guild Wars 2 with, and she had the cutest Cockney accent. And so everyone else was like, Ree! Because it's a Cockney accent. But I was like, oh, she's adorable. Oh, Kitty, how's it going on?
Yeah.
Yeah, I know you hated it.
I don't remember this.
Oh, okay.
There's
You blocked it out. You blocked it out. You had to have.
Microphone people, there's every chance in the world that I do know about this, and I just don't remember it. I have a dumb brain. But if Tony's saying that I didn't like somebody, he's probably right on the mark. He knows me. He was there. And I might not have been.
Yes, sir.
I've been watching, like, on and off, like, British comedy game shows. Because they have those and they're spectacular. They're really funny. They're, like, the one that I've been watching a lot is Would I Lie to You? And the premise is...
Yeah, you talked about this.
Yeah. This sounds good.
The premise is you're a bunch of panelists, people on this game show, and then a story is read about them, and then that person like backs it up with like people questioning them and whatnot, and then once they've asked enough questions, they like go to the judge. You have to decide whether or not that person was lying. And because they're comedy people, they're very quick on their feet, and it's very entertaining. But what this has really done is shown me that, like, so in America, we have a problem where we have an America-centric view of the world. For example, I literally, it felt like an epiphany. Like, I actually learned a universal truth. They have their own famous people who we've...
You fucking moron. I was like, what's this going to be? What is it going to say?
I mean, that's my point.
Yeah, fair enough.
It's that I had that thought. It's very dumb. And if you could bleep my usage of that word, I would really appreciate it. But genuinely, and also, there's some fucking crazy looking people that they have famous. People that, like, there's not a chance they could be famous over here. People British. Yeah, they're too British. But they host, like, fucking, like... It's like, oh, they're host of a reality show over there, and everyone thinks that they're really smart.
Terminally English.
And then it's like, and now let's take the camera over to them, and they're like, so what we've done here?
I don't know. I'm only like aware of like a couple of these famous British people. You know? Like one of them is Paul Hollywood.
Yeah.
From Great British Bake Off, and to me, he's just their Guy Fieri. Like,
so
have you
yeah.
seen this guy?
I'll pull
maybe.
He
man.
like has like silver like spiked hair, and he just goes.
He's genuinely an English Guy Fieri who's a little bit older.
Oh my god,
like,
he is.
Yeah.
Look at him go.
Yeah,
and he just does the exact same shit. Like he's the self-proclaimed king of bread in
King
England.
of bread. That is not even.
Which and he's known from the Great British Bake Off, and then he does like Paul Hollywood goes to fucking bakeries around the world type deals.
You know what? Sure, man. You could be the king of bread. I'll let you have that, man.
So like one of the big ones. So Noel Fielding, you probably know him, but you don't know that you
That's
know
a
him.
fantasy name.
Yeah, that really is Noel Fielding.
No, you remember the Mighty Boosh?
Yeah.
He's the skinny English guy from that.
Okay, yeah.
And he's a delight. I love him.
Yeah.
And there's a different show called The Big Fat Quiz where like every year on like Christmas and New Year's over there, they do the Big Fat Quiz of the year, Big Fat Quiz of the decade, all sorts of stuff.
Yeah.
Where it's just like a game show where you ask and answer questions, and it's all comedians on it, so like, it's not taken seriously. But Richard Ayoade is another incredible guy who I really like. He's from the It Crowd, if you've seen. Him and Noel often get put together, and they are spectacular. I would pay so much fucking money for anything that just has those two headlining. Let me pull him up. He's also a strikingly handsome dork man.
Yeah.
He is, right?
He's a pretty attractive guy. I like him.
He's also really good at fucking impressions.
Oh, that's always fun, man. I'm not the best at impressions.
Also, in America, we don't have nearly as many people who are famous for being fucking dorks.
Well, because anti-intellectualism.
Yeah, we have like a couple of them, like Michael Cera and like even those, but they transition out of that.
Yeah,
when they're awkward, dorky teenagers, they're that, but then they transition out of it. Richard Ayoade is like fully like, I'm a nerd, man. That's what I do, and I'm very funny.
Yeah, you have to be a closeted nerd still. Like, there is an era. People are coming out, like, Henry Cavill is like not a closeted nerd.
Well, I'm actually talking about, like, they're famous for that. They're famous for being a nerd.
Oh, yeah, no, you're right, yeah. Yeah, you have to be a sexy actor to be able to be a nerd.
Yeah.
You have to be eye candy if you're going to be.
You have to be either a sexy actor or a complete clown.
Yeah.
So, I feel like you start there, but then you get Hollywoodified.
And then they transition you out of it, like Michael Cera,
They train you into being, like, the hottest version of that nerd man you can be.
Like Chris Pratt.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah, they get the whole. Then you're riding a motorcycle with CGI.
Yeah, and you have abs,
and you have abs, and you're Star Lord, and
yeah.
you're doing ninja flag flips with your rocket boots,
and you're associating with a church. Everyone tells you to stop doing that.
I know how to bring it up. You brought it up. I know how to bring it up.
And you're like, I wish everybody would stop hounding me about that. And then we stopped hounding him about it because I stopped watching his movies.
Yes, that's how it goes. Like, I will stop hounding you because I'm gonna stop watching. I stopped caring about you, so I'm gonna stop hounding you.
It's really sad too because I didn't even stop watching his movies because of that. Even though I should have, like, from a moralist standpoint, I stopped watching his movies because he stopped being the reason that I watched them.
Yeah, fair,
I could rewatch Parks and Rec, like, start to finish, starting right now, and just be delighted to see him.
Yeah, delighted. He was a treat.
What's this? What church?
Chris Pratt.
Oh man!
I don't know,
man!
So I'm gonna level with you. I'm not going to editorialize. I'm just going to tell you the facts. Chris Pratt is he's a Christian man, and the church that he is a part of is pretty vocally, like, anti-LGBTQ. And everyone said, "Hey, you should say different if you feel different." And Chris Pratt said, "Don't yell at me for the kind of church I go to," which is fair. We shouldn't. You can worship how you please in this country. However, everyone said, like, but this specific church that you belong to for what may or may not be tax reasons is saying a bad thing that you don't agree with, right? And he did on occasion say, like, yes, I don't agree with that, but he is still 100% fully invested in that church and everything. Like, there's never him saying, like, why? One without the... I presume tax reasons.
Yeah, a lot of it is all tax. Yeah, it's
similar to, like, how I believe so many people are in, like, the Church of Scientology.
Yeah. A lot of it is money laundering on the ends of the day. Because you have a whole bunch of tax exemptions when you're religious, so, like, they use that to launder money because why not?
And often they will do things like they will, like, put so much money into the church so that the church will buy a thing, which is basically, like, because it was Hollywood Man buying it, the church has a free thing, and also Hollywood Man gets a massive tax write-off. And then there's other ventures that they do, like they put a bunch of money into the church, and then that church patronizes their business.
Yeah.
That's one of the big ones that we see, where it looks like, oh, this is just like a way to get a... Like, so, technically, he didn't make $3 million. He bought a thing, and then the people who, like, he bought that thing from then gave him money, and then, like, so it doesn't look like he's making as much as he truly has liquid in this hypothetical scenario that I believe occurs pretty often. And I'm not even particularly saying that it's wrong. My belief in, like, the place of religion and, like, places of worship is sort of murky right now. I'm just saying that's a thing I think happens.
Yeah, no, I mean, like, people have been cleaning money to the church since, like, the papacy, man.
Yeah.
Like,
oh yeah.
That's just how, like, I mean, like, it gets to what degree and how you do it.
Since Jesus stopped being cold in the ground, in fact.
Yeah. So by the way, I'm not condoning it. I'm not saying I get asked that. Yeah, but it's just a matter of how it's happening and who's doing it. And yeah, that doesn't sound good.
Yeah.
You know, it's whether it sounds good or not. Actually, it's not a good look.
Yeah.
That's honesty. Most of the things I condemn people about boil down to that and nothing more. It's less about, was that the right or wrong thing to do, and more about, was it a good look? Do you look like a cool guy doing that? And a lot of time that's binary, right? There's usually almost no, like, well, no, it's usually, okay, yes or no. Are you a cool guy for doing what you just did? And if you can't answer that, then maybe you should have done it.
There's a self-love thing I was reading the other day, mostly because it was presented to me in meme format, which is how you can get inside my head. That it was like, loving yourself, like, as a concept is like a thing that we don't really understand in a modern sense, because what it truly breaks down to is, do you love being the person that you are?
Yeah.
Because, like, if you're like, man, I hate that I'm so, like, argumentative, well, then that's one of the things you don't love about yourself. That's one of the things you should work on, not one of the things you should hate, here's one of the things that you should change. Because ideally, when you think of who's the coolest guy, they should resemble, at least in part, you. Exactly. How you behave and carry yourself.
Exactly. And so you should be the change you want to see in this world. So if you're not going to conduct yourself and, like, promote the things you want to see in this world, then what the fuck are you doing, man? Like, or rather, like, I'm going to question your competence when you're doing something that isn't that. Or, like, when you're contrarian, right? Like, the Chris Pratt thing. Like, you can't fund an organization that's opposed to a cause and then say you support that cause.
Right.
That's contrarian. That doesn't actually make
sense.
That's
at the very least, like, that you're being a bad actor.
Yes.
You're not being honest with your intent.
Yeah, there's more to it than what you're saying.
Yeah.
And you're not being transparent. And we're not worth your time or worth an explanation, which on one hand, fuck you.
Yeah.
Or on the other hand, you're actually a stooge. And on the other hand, and at that point, I'm a sapiophile. Fuck you. And either way, I don't like you anymore.
Honestly, the third answer is, like, you don't know what is actually going. You have, like, a level of ignorance that you are adhering to, like, the advice of people around you to a point where it's like, oh, well, then it doesn't matter what you think about anything. You're kind of dumb.
And unfortunately,
Tom Cruise in a nutshell.
Dude, and unfortunately, fame and wealth just let people double down on being dumb. And typically the people that try to, like, you know, explain to them that, like, hey, maybe the thing you're doing isn't the best course of action, you get more respect these days doubling down on bad decisions than you lose admitting you were wrong.
Right.
And that sucks.
Yeah. It
sucks that, like, someone being like, shit, I was wrong, I should do better. You lose more respect than you gain by saying, fuck you, I'm gonna do me. I don't give a fuck what you think. Drop the mic, MLG air horn, bwah, 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 bwah. Like, that's the fucking knee-jerk go-to reaction. And, like, it's just how it goes, man. That's where we're at.
It's not good.
It's not a good look. Not a good look.
Yeah.
I'm trying to be better. I've been on one of these days, too. I can't even. But we're working on it, man. We're working on it. Yeah. Crazy times, man. Crazy fucking time. Crazy time to be alive. What else fucking happened that's crazy?
Let me pull up my silly ass notes.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Talking points. What is it that a wizard discusses in these trying times?
So you know what would be, like, a fun name for like a rap group in the Middle Ages?
Oh, let's hear it.
I'm going to use this as an adventuring party name in our D&D campaign later. It's Buckets of Ducats.
Buckets of Ducats?
Yeah.
Oh, man. Buckets of Ducats.
Yeah.
And their hit single.
Yeah.
It's raining gemstones.
Getting fucked up in the Shire.
Getting fucked up in the Shire, goddamn.
Yeah, get that old Toby. That long bottom leaf.
Get that, have Holly bust out the hurdy-gurdy.
Goddamn. What? The hurdy-gurdy. Silly.
You know, I never... fuck! Are you alright, bro? You alright, boo-boo?
I just remembered something that, like, it crashed into me like a wave, and it's so
yeah,
stupid.
It did, didn't it? Let's hear it.
It's so dumb.
Let's fucking hear it, brother.
The game Battleship is just bingo on versus mode.
Oh my god, it is! What a scam! They made it look so unique.
It is, right?
But it's just bingo on versus mode. That's ingenious, actually. Good for them. Good for them. It's not a scam. I don't know why I said it's a scam. That's not nice. I was just shocked to realize.
Yeah.
That I've been duped into thinking
for years.
The wool has been covered from my eyes for so long. I can't believe that shit, man. That's a crazy observation. So that's the point of listening to this podcast. That is some true wizard knowledge.
So
it's knowing that Battleship is in fact a post bingo.
I also like have a I have like a superhero universe that I just add characters to here and there.
Okay, based, I like it.
And one of them is a crime fighting duo like Batman and Robin, and it's their names are Right Hook and Jab.
Oh, that's real good. That's real good.
Yeah.
That pops, it snaps, I like it, yeah.
They're more of an old timey group that Jab died in the line of duty, and now the the heroes organization are making use of Right Hook's power, which is like instantaneous super strength, and he just fires like mortar shells at fucking Godzillas and shit all day.
So, I actually do something kind of similar, though I don't have quite a roster. But I was trying to think of like what would the supervillain of this hypothetical setting be, and then I settled on Fanboy.
Oh, Fanboy.
Fanboy, whose ability would be he can get the abilities of his favorite characters from IPs that he likes.
Oh.
On the condition that he knows more about it than anyone else.
That's really good. It reminds me of
what a way to reward the worst impulses in man.
That's what I'm saying, dude. Like the right or wrong guy could be a god, because if you imagine that guy from Hunter x Hunter that's always looking at his book, whatever that guy's name was from the Phantom Trope.
Yeah.
Like, okay, yeah, that's how you make that power really strong. I'm literally wicking off at all times. I am constantly reading your lore and your canon, and the second I get one more word than you, that's it. That's hilarious. I love that. That's hilarious.
If I were writing this in a story, can I tell you what I would do with him?
Go for it. I just created that concept because I was just like thinking about how I digest like, so many things.
I love it, man.
Just like, what if someone like this had power? It'd be terrifying.
So typically when I hear ideas, especially ideas that I really like, I have this like random access memory thing where like my brain just goes into like, how would you handle it? What would you do with this? And like, what would I... So he would, first of all, he'd be completely busted. He'd be overpowered as shit, obviously. All he would really need to do is wick off to Superman for too long, and then, it's kind of fucked. Unless, even your Supermans are like, sort of, like, evenly matched at best. I would have it like he actually is like fucking pretty busted, and then because he's not limited to one power, right?
No.
So like as long as he like maintains all of this, he's like untraceable. Like they can't catch him. Whenever they do like fucking catch him, he either like he gets away or like fights to a standstill. Like he's really fucked him. And then I would have one probably like a smaller character. So I have a character called Showtime that I'm sure I've told you about. Mm-hmm. I would have someone like Showtime who's more of a street level guy. I would have him figure out that like one of the people that he knows is like a writer for one of the comics or like an ink guy or something. And then it would be literally like, I need you to like, Showtime would show up and then the guy would basically be powerless whenever he tries to use one of his like main powers. And it's because, I had that guy make a comic and then he burned it. No one but him will ever have that.
Yeah, got his ass. You'll never know.
Yeah.
Oh, that's funny. That's funny. Yeah, that's funny. I like that. If it was a JoJo stand, it would be called According to the Law.
Law Master.
Yeah, Law Master. That would be a good one, too. Law Master. That's hilarious. And also, this guy would be insufferable to be around.
Oh, he'd be the worst.
He'd be the worst.
A natural villain.
Yeah.
That was the thing. I enjoyed the concept a lot, but I would be like, I couldn't think up of like what would his motivation be. Like he just wants to keep reading the shit. Like
he'd have to be like a mercenary.
Oh no,
or like a.
That's the easiest thing in the world. If all he cares about is reading the shit, then all that he would be drawn immediately into the fact that one, they're like, this is a setting that obviously has real like supernatural elements into it, and he would be drawn into like, I can be like that in real life, but that supernatural element will inevitably lead to him, one, either not being able to enjoy his thing, or two, it will prevent his things from getting made. There will never be another Superman. Why? The office where they make Superman comics, it got flattened by a Godzilla.
Yeah, I gotta protect the authors. I gotta protect the creators.
And then that's so easy to just warp.
Yeah, it is.
I need to be an unstoppable guardian of the things that I love. That means that that leads right into misery level, where like he'd be like tormenting the people who make the things that he loves. Oh,
yeah, you can
easy
character.
character.
You can play it a lot of angles.
Running like a comic book sweatshop.
Yeah, exactly. Like a real comic book.
Yeah.
$200 a page. Pick it up.
I think a lot of people would just take him up on that. They get really taken advantage of in the comic book world.
Yeah, it's a fun little exercise just to like come up with superpowers.
Oh yeah, I used to have I made like like two like charts that were like one of them was like powers and one of them was like limitations, and I like did a bunch of them, and like some of them were they were all very vaguely worded, but like one of the characters that I made that I really liked was he has power over water, but only through electricity. Which actually, I can spin that to make perfect sense. All that he needs is a power source, and then using like electrical impulses that he passes through the water, he's able to. Water moves when you put electricity in it, just like everything. That's how particles work.
Yeah, currents. Yeah.
So as long as he has like access to power, he's fucking waterbender.
I like that.
Yeah.
Pretty cool. Pretty cool.
Just have some batteries on them.
Exactly. You put tie some tasers to your arms, and now you got fucking giant ice hands.
Sick nasty.
Right?
I think my favorite one I came up with, just because of how like it sounds really stupid, but I think it would be devastating. I didn't come up with a name for the guy, but the superpower would be you can make anything as long as it's like conscious, basically. Like if it is like alive, like if it meets like, so it like doesn't even matter if it's like if it's a dog or a robot, a bug, whatever. Like as long as if it's alive, air quotes, he can just make it have endless, unstoppable diarrhea. That is specifically non-lethal.
Oh,
so
man. Devastating.
You will
yeah, dude.
cannot stop shitting. You won't die from it, but it's just until he decides it's not happening anymore. It's
Imagine fighting Dr. Doom, and he gives his speech about his doomsday weapon and how he's going to be.
No, hit him with a diarrhea ray.
Yeah, make him shit himself.
No.
Imagine trying to save face when you're shitting yourself, man.
You'll never stop me.
Like,
Damn you, Reed Richards. Damn you to hell. I'll bury you.
yeah, it's just
devastating. They'll never recover. Some wounds never fucking heal, man.
Yeah.
Like, how do you? Wow.
yeah.
Wow.
Other people out here slinging fireballs, and he's just like, I just make you shit yourself. Like,
I wouldn't fight that guy.
Yeah.
I would not. Like the Legion of Doom meeting, being like, "Hey, man, I'm out, dude. I'm just not. I got an appearance to maintain. You know, I got minions to impress. I'm not gonna get shit myself for 5 minutes, man. I'm not doing it. I'm out.
No, that's great. Lex Luthor in front of the Legion of Doom is like, okay, listen. I know that we're here to stop the Super Friends, and specifically, I'm here to stop Superman. But there's a new hero on the scene that I feel like everyone needs to know about. And like Black Manta is like, who could be this hero that even the great Lex Luthor is in fear of? And he's like, he has this power. I don't know why it works. I don't know how it works. I will figure it out. I'm Lex Luthor. I will figure it out. Brainiac, I'm going to need you to stay after this meeting. He has a ray that causes you to shit. Solomon Grundy's confused. Even you, Solomon. Even you. You will shit until you cannot anymore. And I don't know if that's ever happened to you, but when you can't shit anymore, you can't do anything else either. You're done. You're dehydrated and
all
tired.
The fluid gone. All the gusto gone.
specifically, like, the idea was that, like,
How will this help us defeat Wonder Woman? It's not about defeating anyone at this point. Okay?
It's really not, dude.
We are in triage here.
It's already too late.
yeah, the thing, like, specifically I thought that would make it absolutely devastating is that, like, it can't kill you.
Right.
Like, so, like, it's not like just...
Right,
you
so
have
everyone lives to be, like, have a deep hatred and fear of you.
And it's just, it won't, like... You'll just keep going.
Yep.
Like, physically, you could shit your own body weight if he just wants that to happen. Like,
Yep.
It's all your
I
fluids.
just don't turn it off. We will. There will be like a surplus of matter in this universe spewing out of your anus, and you will not like it.
Just make the Juggernaut deflate with shit.
it's like
all of his muscle mass shitting out of his ass.
it's like he'd be considered like a minor reality warper.
Right.
Devastating.
Dude, like...
One of those things where they're like, technically Iceman is an Omega level mutant. Thankfully, he just uses it to make like surfboards and stuff. So,
Yeah, the shitmancer here, the poop smith or whatever the fuck this guy is.
I can already see
that's an Omega level mutant.
I can already see him being introduced. He's all cast in shadow, and then like they explain his powers and everything, and that he's considered a reality warper. And the last line is, his power is so great, if he met God, God would shit.
Yeah, he would. He'd shit himself.
The Hattori Hanzo sword.
That's so fucking stupid. Bro, that's so good.
Yeah, the only name I thought of was, I figured he would just do it as long as you could like hear him or something. Right. I don't know, like or whatever.
The poop smith.
Brown sound.
Brown sound. Okay.
No.
Yeah, because of the brown note, and then.
Oh man.
But the thing is that he didn't come up with that name.
Right.
It was just put upon him.
Right.
That was supposed to be the character.
I imagine he wouldn't want to draw attention to the poopiness of his powers. He would just want to be seen as, formidable.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, you can't deny your brand.
I thought for the character would just be like he hates it.
Right,
like,
obviously.
He hates that that's his superpower, but he's just so devastating.
No, there's Daredevils and Spiders-Man out here.
Because, anyone he attacks with it will always have his enmity. It will never go away.
Also, there's no such thing as good press for him.
That's what I'm saying, dude. It's all shitty. It's all shit.
Even if he stops like a world... Galactus comes. And he's like, not so fast, Galactus!
Not Galactus! No!
And he's at a press like a press release thing. He's like, I saved the world. And everyone's just mad at him. What you did is you flooded Toronto, sir.
Yeah, he fucking did!
He was gonna eat us!
Fuck, bro.
That's probably my favorite one.
That's so fucking stupid, yo! Fuck.
I came up with that because I was like, everyone always like comes up with like these super serious superpowers, but it's like
elemental mastery.
There's like, but if it's superpowers, there's no limitations. What if there's a guy who could just make you shit yourself? Like, sounds low level, but
so
I'm not fighting him.
No, I will not fight that guy, dude. No, I don't. Have you ever had like really, really bad diarrhea when you're shitting out your organs, basically? Like, ain't doing that again. Fuck that, man. Like, not willingly, you know what I mean? Like, I'm not gonna like. Tally ho, lads! Like, it's willing.
It's like
shitting myself.
Like JoJo's has like fucking like really weird powers like that.
Yeah, it does, man.
Where it's there's a fucking tweet I just pulled up. JoJo's fights really be like, you thought you gained an advantage by destroying my eyeglasses, but you forget we're in an IHOP. I used my stand, the view, to make these two pancakes transparent and fashioned them into concave lenses, correcting my nearsightedness.
Yeah, it sounds that's JoJo's, man.
That's JoJo's.
That's JoJo's, all right. That's how that goes. Clearly, the work of an enemy stand.
Ooh, the other one I really liked, Synthwave, where dude, imagine he's like. Almost like a noise marine, where it's like he's got like a suit that just has like speakers basically. Mm-hmm. And as long as he's playing music and he's dancing, you have to do this. You are forced to do the same movement.
Oh man, it's the fucking disco alien.
That is the most best crowd control. That is some pretty good shit.
Yeah, like
I like it.
The idea would be like he would be like part of a crew.
Yeah,
and then like he's like the opening of just like. Some dude just comes down the street and he's already boogieing. Like,
yeah, I love it, dude.
Playing music and they're just like, what the fuck?
And he gets in a surprise somebody and they have to do it too.
Yeah, then like, he gets up to the guards of the whatever that they're gonna heist, and then all of a sudden they're just, what the fuck? Like, and
it's so good, dude. They're just fucking like horrified. But they're like,
Johnson, you have to stop me! He's using the dance. He's put the keys in my hand, Johnson. He's unlocking the door.
Yeah, and then he does that until Brown Sound shows up.
Oh, no!
You can completely incapacitate them.
No, those poor officers, no.
They call him the cavalry.
They didn't sign up for that, man.
You can just go, ah!
Yeah! Like, what a night to be forcibly made to fucking jive around and unlock the door so you're gonna get fired. And then to add insult to injury, you're gonna shit yourself for 5 minutes, man. Uncontrollable
You will shit
diarrhea.
yourself unconscious.
And if they really want to torture him, they make him do it at the same time. Not only are you dancing, but now you are uncontrollably splattering shit everywhere as you're boogieing. And I'm going to get that on camera, and
Call
then
that
I'm
a
going to
Panic at
blackmail
the
you.
Disco.
Yeah, they're a devastating combo.
Devastating combo, man. Holy shit, dude. That's evil. That's what evil looks like.
Yeah.
All right? You want to talk about the snap? That's some rookie level shit.
What do you and your team seek to gain? I don't know, money. We're just we're doing our thing and causing problems, I guess. But we're just doing whatever we want, and no one can possibly stop us.
They really fucking can't, dude. They really fucking can't, dude.
The cops, obviously they don't have powers, so they can't resist it. And even like the powerful psychics who think that they can resist it, they end up shitting.
Devastating. Truly devastating.
The funny thing too is like in my head, immediately people would think hard counter. I'll just build an army of robots, and then they send the robots, and he somehow can make the robots shit themselves.
We establish he's a reality bender.
How is this happening?
And then everyone is just baffled at that point. That's like he just can't be stopped.
Is it like still poop or is it like oil? Like how does that work? What's coming out?
I suppose it would depend on the robot. Wouldn't it?
I guess. Yeah.
It just works.
Yeah.
Old talk I would like to say.
Oh, fuck, man. It just works. That's good shit.
One of my favorite villains that I had for my thing. This isn't funny. This is just regular again. Sorry. His power was omnipresence. He was everywhere at once, but he's a guy, so he can only be in one spot. So, whenever he needs to go somewhere, it looks like he just takes a step and, he's already there. He's always already there. Do you mind?
Oh, is the boy bothering you?
He chewed on my shoe a little bit.
Oh, well, he wants your attention.
He does.
Yeah, you're not giving it to him. That's your fault. That's not true. That's literally blaming the victim. That's not good. Red flag. But he's my son. He can do whatever he wants to you.
This is his house.
It goes both ways. I will totally acknowledge he's abusing you and then tell him he can do it. Do it, Amadeus. Take what is owed to you.
I don't remember where I was going. He basically has the power of teleportation, but by virtue of the fact that he has, quote, infinite wind-up, he can also, do massive, bursts of energy. When you wind up your fist, it only goes that far back to come that far forward. He's always everywhere, so it's going infinitely far back and then infinitely far forward. So he's teleporter Flash, basically.
Huh, I like it. It's a fun concept.
Yeah, his big thing was that he didn't particularly give a shit about anything. He was just... And that was honestly what made him a horrible villain, was because there was no reasoning with him. There was no there isn't even really defeating him. There's just fighting him until he decides that he's done. And
reminds you of Crow from what was it called? Biscuit Hammer.
Yeah.
He's aimless aggression, man.
He's just fucking. He's just sort of a shit. He's a shitty guy who uses his powers to get whatever he wants, whenever he wants, and then when he kicks up too much of a fuss, they send in fucking strong guys to come punch him until he's like, all right, I'll go to a pool in Ibiza or something, and then he fucks off.
Yeah, that makes sense.
There was another guy that I had this guy was he was considered low level, but I had him. I thought I feel like I could set him up for a really good arc, and he was the red right hand, and his power was if he touched you with his red right hand, it would leave a mark on you. And until everybody who had a mark on them either had the mark removed or died, he was unkillable.
Oh, wow. See, I like stuff like that because it's powerful in a subtle, a less obvious way. Because, alright, he's not, super strength, I'm not going to rip a building in half, but, you can't do anything about me until you get all these guys, and how are you going to get them?
I had some arbitrary limit of how many he could do.
Yeah, there has to be, right?
And I think it was super easy to remove the mark, but you have to know that you're marked first of all because it's not visible. but like he was more of like a shady. He was my fucking kingpin mobster style character.
Yeah, I could see that because if that person played their cards right and you had a bunch of willing supplicants that weren't like they knew they were marked but they were okay with it,
Exactly.
You could play it in a lot of ways, and then it allows you to do things like one of the things I always like about like Warhammer 40k lore and the God Emperor of Mankind like unifying Earth or whatever is like one of the stories. He like goes to some place. I want to say it's like in not America. And there's, like, this one city that's like, oh, who's this uppity upstart guy? He thinks he's hot shit. Well, we're not going to join him. And he tries to go to negotiate with him, and he just walks up in robes. And they're like, okay, this man just showed up in robes. He's not in armor. He isn't in army. He's just in robes. Mm. All right, that's kind of a flex, ain't it? And so they listen to him, they hear him out, and then they end up joining him because he showed up in robes. But, like, no, he didn't show up in robes. He's the God Emperor of Mankind. He could have just done his little fucking psychic shenanigans and destroyed the entire city.
He changed their minds.
It was never a fucking issue for him, man. Yeah. He didn't show up in robes. So I don't know, it just reminds you of that.
Yeah. Probably didn't show up in his own face either.
Yeah.
And I mean, even if like he showed up and everyone like disagreed with them, he literally can change their minds.
Yeah.
Just with his powers.
Yeah.
The other thing with
So it's like any history of him is to be doubted.
Immortality powers is I always like to try to give them a caveat where they can like do a thing that lets them be immune to the tried and true. Just put them in a box and then just throw it in the ocean. Like,
his thing was
and what do you do? Like, enjoy immortality, asshole.
So that was in a book I read actually. It was like a young adult novel. I remember being in from high school. It was about like these kids. And basically, like, they died, and they went to, like basically purgatory. And, like, one guy was, like, a kid. And one of the things, basically, if you couldn't swim, and if you stopped moving, you sank. Mm-hmm. And if you sank too deep into the ground, that's it, you're down. Mm-hmm. You're just going to keep going into the earth, and you're trapped there forever. And it's hell. Basically, it's hell.
Right.
And, like, it had this, like, Lord of the Flies kind of element. A lot of these kids were basically, like, yeah, like, throwing kids into the ocean so they sunk forever because fuck you, we don't like you. Mm-hmm. And I guess there was this one kid where that happened to him, and, like, he was so angry and bitter he, like, forgot what he looked like, so he, like, chose to be, like, an angry monster and, like, crawled his way back out of the fucking abyss or whatever, and became, like, a horrible, ghoulish monster man.
Hell yeah.
The idea of, like, sinking and shit, I don't know, it reminded me of that.
His get around for that is that he can swap places with anyone he's marked.
There you go. Yeah.
Because the first thing that they did was they in the story he was like more of a major villain in the equivalent of my 80s, like the 80s, and they tried to get rid of him by like throwing him in a box and losing the key, and then one day the equivalent of like I guess he'd be the equivalent of like Captain America. He just stopped showing up for work, and that guy started showing up everywhere again.
That's rough.
One of the key aspects of this setting is that most people, you don't understand your powers because there's no guide to them.
Yeah.
There's very few people who have, like, overlapping abilities that they can teach each other. So your powers, like, the depth of them is at your ability to discern them. Like, so I have...
Devil fruit rules, almost.
Pretty much.
Yeah.
I had one guy who his thing was he had the ability. Well, this was a girl. Her ability was she was like Monster Girl in Invincible, where she could transform into a monster basically, and her thing was she turned into a kaiju class monster because in this setting kaiju's are a real fucking problem. But she could turn into a giant monster, and that's very inconvenient for like doing most things unless you're fighting other Godzillas. So she was trying to figure out how to use her powers without like becoming a full monster. She was like trying to partially turn and do all this other stuff. It wasn't really working. And the way that I had it around for it is she changed her shadow into the giant monster. And now she had the mass of a giant monster now and like a really tiny fucking body.
Oh wow, okay. Huh. Pretty cool. Yeah, designing superheroes is fun. It's always a good that's not really a genre I really dived too much into though. Like I know I had a few concepts for a while, but I really played too heavily on superheroes.
Yeah. I feel like it's an easy modern mythology to tell. But what I like more than doing that is doing my own mythology outside of modern world.
Yeah, like urban fantasy never did it for me. To me, part of fantasy is that it's removed from the real world. Like that's what like one of the things I feel like Studio Ghibli really highlights is like using animation as a medium to take you somewhere that doesn't actually exist.
Yeah.
And clearly fucking doesn't.
Yeah.
Like, that's what really does it for me.
None of this just shooting in New Zealand nonsense.
Yeah, like, I shouldn't be able to think, like, oh, that's where they're shooting this at.
Yeah.
Like, oh, this is just Germany. Oh, this is just New Zealand. Like, that's fine, don't get me wrong, it's pretty. The real world is gorgeous and beautiful, but I can go outside to look at it.
Yeah.
The thing, if I'm going to look at a screen, the thing I should be seeing on a screen should not be something I can see outside.
I want to see a world where if you climb to the top of that, top of the mountain, you can fully reach up and get onto a volcano planet.
Yeah, I want to see some. I want to.
It's just really close to the regular Earth.
I want to see the bounds of human creativity and imagination. I don't want to see some guy copying shit that's outside. Which, once again, I'm not like. I don't even want to devalue that's a thing. I love scenery porn.
Right.
Like free run. One of the biggest appeals of free run is scenery porn.
I mean,
even Ghibli.
Even saying like, oh, I'm not really into doing that. What I mean by that is I'm not into doing that like with my own work.
Yes.
These are still good and valuable things.
I don't want to discredit this shit. But
yeah. Like I'm never going to make a kung fu movie script or book, but I fucking love kung fu movies.
Oh yeah, dude, the Shaw Brothers films are such masterpieces, man. All of them gold, dude. Those guys were so ahead of their time.
Making their movies in a factory.
Just producing them like a...
Make 3,000 movies, 2 or 3 of them are any good.
They produce movies the same way Sparks are produced in a Ted Nugent music video.
Yeah.
Where there's just like an 80s shredding, you know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
Like
we need a lot of them.
Like... Did the Holy Diver video have Sparks? No, that was just the Rats. They had the whole Skaven aesthetic going on. You remember this?
I thought Holy Diver was him like on an island.
And so the Holy Diver music video is like Dio brandishing a sword.
Yeah, on
walking through like a temple.
He comes out of like the water. He comes out of the ocean like Godzilla or King Arthur.
Does he really?
I think that's the start of it.
He probably fucking does. I won't contest that. I won't contest that at all.
Because I do remember the dark cultists.
Yeah, the Skaven cultists. Yeah. They have like a horned rat, like worshiping a horned rat icon. And there's like a guy, like a medieval surf guy just standing in the temple. And Dio walks up, smites this motherfucker, and he just stands there and takes it, by the way. He doesn't even attempt to defend himself. And then he explodes into rats. And I'm like, what kind of Skaven sorcery is this, bro? What the fuck? So I don't know what the fuck they were doing in the 80s, where all this like rat shit came out. There's like Master Splinter, and like Skaven, and Dio smiting motherfuckers into rats. But I guess like those New York rats must have been a real motherfucking problem.
There was, at the time there was a horrible like level of crime in the inner city, and it really imprinted itself on the creatives of the world, I guess.
We know 2 things.
The dirtiness.
Crime and rats.
Rats are part of crime.
I mean, rats are just part of New York.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying, man.
Oh, wait, don't need that.
Rats are very intelligent, clean, and beautiful animals. And then there are New York rats, which are a horrible demonic breed of Skaven.
So apparently there's different breeds depending on what borough you're in.
Yeah.
Oh my god, it's that bad, huh?
And they have like sewer wars.
Yeah.
See, I know I know that the New York rat is like its own horrible monster subspecies of rat. Like that's a real thing.
Yeah.
Like, but I didn't know it was that bad.
They don't have enough, like, the genetic diversity isn't such that, like, they can't interbreed, but clearly they've formed, like, clans.
They're Skaven!
Yeah.
They really are Skaven!
But they're, like, Bronx
You know what?
clan.
I'm gonna say something. I feel like there's no way that isn't also just happening in London, Like...
Oh, that happened in London, like, 400 years ago.
Mean. Those are the real Skaven.
Yeah.
There they are.
I'm pretty sure... New York rats are descended from London rats.
They have to be.
So that was one of the things I was going to bring up. So in America, we have like the brown rat, like naturally occurring here, and that's what we think of when we think of like a pretty docile rat. And then the black rats came from. That sounds terrible. They're literally black.
No, I know what you mean.
They came from London and they interbred, and it's like the Africanized bees situation.
Yeah, that's how it goes.
Where now their genetics are not compensating for their hormones correctly, so now they're extra insane and evil.
Like Skaven.
Yeah.
Oh my god. England. You sons of bitches. Why would you do well?
Just some rats, isn't it?
Tuesday, isn't it?
Tuesday.
Fuck, man. I guess, that's just the cost of doing business.
It's the cost of living in the King's England.
Insane monster rats just eating your children at night, I guess. I don't know what they do. I'm assuming they do that. I'm assuming that's happened at least once.
Definitely.
There's no way those fucking New York rats haven't, like, blended up a baby real quick.
Do you...
Like a bunch of... I don't even know.
How fast... if you were dropped into a pit of starving rats...
Oh, man.
How quickly could they, like, strip you to the bone?
30 seconds. 30 seconds.
Like piranha?
Like a piranha, bro.
Yeah.
Because they're omnivores. They're opportunistic carnivores. And they have really, like, the incisors can really just rip through flesh, man. Like, they can really take chunks out of you. And if they're hungry, oh, man. Because they're so quick. Like, when a rodent is, like, in full... get shit done mode.
Yeah.
Like, they're so quick, man.
Their eyes roll up all black like a doll's eyes. Don't even seem to be living at all.
Yeah.
Till it bites you.
Like, I think I was going to get pet rats, but, like, no one can tolerate their tails. Everyone keeps telling me they just can't handle it.
It's also very sad. They only live for, like, 2 years.
That's the big one, is I can't, like, getting a new minion every 3 years is heartbreaking. I don't want to have to train a new guy every 3 fucking years. I got way too close to the microphone there for, like, way too long. That's bad. Anyway.
We'll fix it in post.
Anyway.
Does anyone know how to fix and what post is?
Barely. But,
okay, good. It's good that you're in charge then.
Yeah, based. But yeah, no, that's why I like the little Amadeus over here. He lives 10 years. I can handle that.
Eating up cardboards and shoes and things.
Yeah, he loves chewing things he should.
Yeah.
And things he should. I'm glad he's chewing things he should.
Things he should and shouldn't alike. With equal vigor.
He's finally chewing his wood stuff. For like months, he would not chew the wood toys I got him. Mm-hmm. And it was really upsetting because he kept chewing my fucking cords.
Right.
And then I bought him toys to chew, and I locked him up in his cage. And I was like, well, you can't come out until I give you stuff to chew. And then I gave him a whole bunch of stuff to chew. I went to Petco, bought a whole bunch of shit. Mm. And I scattered it on the floor, and I was like, okay, you have stuff to chew now. And then I let him out, and he instantly walked over to one of my cords and chewed it. And I was like, you son of a bitch! Ah!
You bitch, I trusted you!
So I knew at that point, if they make a noise he doesn't like, he has warnings.
He's gonna get it, yeah.
There is no coexisting. The cords they sell to wrap and bunny-proof your cables only last a few moments with him. He's undeterred.
It buys you a heartbeat.
It does. It really does. It buys you enough time to realize he's doing it before the cord is gone.
Yeah.
Which honestly is enough.
It can be.
Yeah, it can.
Otherwise, in some instances, it just alerts you for long enough to watch it happen.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, true. Exactly. So, but now we have the great buffer wall. He has that side of the room. I have this side of the room. It's a delicate ecosystem. I like it.
Seems to be working.
He can assault my friends when they come to visit, entertain them. I like to think he's entertaining you. But he takes bites out of your feet, so,
he
goes both ways.
He's a complicated man.
He just wants to eat my shoes.
Yeah, it's a reasonable request.
I come to you, I ask you to simply for something to chew upon. Just something to eat. I ask for nothing from you but your shoes. And you deny me? Your cruelty and inhumanity at this time of need will be noted. And then he comes around here and chews on cardboard.
We definitely got to get Amadeus a bow tie. He would be adorable in a little bow tie.
I bet he would hate it.
He's more than well fed.
Yes.
There's no reason to be eating my fucking shoes.
Dude. Every pet at all times, every time they beg for anything, I always, in my head, hear them please, sir, I've been starving for so many moon. They have no concept. Yeah. They have no concept of the goodness that they have.
I want some more. Yeah. What? More? Literally me, bro. More? I'm gonna do that tonight with this motherfucker.
so many times the conversation is looped back to just making fun of British people.
Yeah.
There we go again.
Sorry.
No, but I really want, like, I want to be a fly in the wall of a room with a group of Brits making fun of us the same way. And I just want to see how they do it. Like, I want to hear
they
them
do it by they speak
like,
more clearly. They brush their teeth a lot.
Like, yeah, like I just imagine it.
Even
like,
in them making fun of us, baboom! I get one in on there.
I picture them doing the fucking dodgeball episode in South Park. Like,
Yeah, I was thinking that. I was just thinking that. You have any non-dairy creamer?
Like, I don't know. I can't recall a time I've heard a British person like do that, and I really want to. I really want to hear that.
So the big one that I've seen, because I see it on like TikTok and shit, is they say. So one of the things that we make fun of them for that they have then turned around on us is it's whenever a British person says anything that an American person would like fucking duet them with them saying like bottle of water. So in response,
sorry, all the fuck. What the fuck did you just say? What the fuck did you just say to me?
You know, a nice bottle of water.
Oh, that's what you said.
Bottle of water. So
all right, yeah.
So in response, they do bottle of water.
Yeah, got us. Boom, got him.
So,
and they on screen you can see they spelled water with D's.
Oh,
water.
Man. Oh man,
so that's like one of the only, not like kind of that voice, but I've heard them do like the like surfer bro type thing.
Yeah.
But it's like I feel like it doesn't count because we do that too. Like we make fun of those people as well.
Right.
Like
so like I almost feel like this isn't any Brits doing this, but like Meat Canyon is very good at ripping Americans apart when he chooses to. Like a lot of his stuff is like all over the place. But like he has one about pumpkin spice.
Oh, the pumpkin spice one was horrible.
That's all you have to say to really rip America apart, bro.
See, but I make fun of those people too.
No, 100%. No, exactly. Like, all inclusive, man.
If it's also something I'm doing, it doesn't count. Like I want something,
right?
I want
like
a novel.
Like no British person would say to like,
fair enough. Yeah.
No British person would make fun of another British person from like 2 fucking miles away
for eating bangers and mash.
But like they wouldn't be like because they wouldn't say that.
Fuck, man.
They simply wouldn't.
You gotta stop saying that, man. Fuck, dude.
So from what I understand, they actually do like.
They do make fun of each other's accents.
I know. Like
I've heard the folks I play Guild Wars 2 do that before. Like a lot of them are from the UK, and they were ripping on each other about one being from like Cheshire Haven and one being from like Nottingham or something.
West
I don't know what the fuck they're talking about. Yeah. And I'm like, yeah, you all right? Sure, man. Based.
It's like
a deep and diverse culture.
The one I think of is like they like to make fun of posh accents.
I was about to bring this up.
Yes.
Yeah, go.
No, it was just like they just make fun of, like the high class British thing is like apparently that's something they like to rip into.
Yeah,
it's like it just makes you cunty, I guess.
I buy it. Fuck,
it's basically the same as us making fun of Karens.
Where I buy that.
You're seen as like socially like
awkward, not awkward. Us
more like a
overprivileged
bag. And like Yeah. If you talk like that, that's the response is essentially for like you're being a Karen right now.
Yeah,
you're being an entitled little bitch.
We're allowed to rip on this man.
Yeah, you're allowed to rip on him. He went to private school until he had already committed his 10th.
Yeah,
and like
this man is terminally in a sweater vest.
This man can be tied to the royal family from Spain and like Sweden and some fucking rich asshole and. Like Africa.
Yeah, look at that Habsburg.
That isn't white, by the way. I didn't mean that as like a rich African. I mean it the bad way.
Yikes.